Hi, my name is Andre Jack. Hope you're doing swell and hope you're feeling swole. Come for the finance and stay for the magic. Let's talk about the top 10 best investing apps. This is the official countdown of the year. I had a lot of questions this year about which ones to get started with investing in real estate, in the stock market, in digital currencies, and which ones to use if you're outside of the US and you're an international spy. SPY. That's a stock market joke, never mind. Just remember, all of these are SIPC and or FDIC insured, so even if they go out of business, your money should still be safe up to $500,000, of which $250,000 can be cash. All right, so let's get started. Hi, who are you? Hey, we heard you got to 1 million subscribers now. Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? Please allow us to introduce ourselves. How you doing, man? Okay, so the first app is called Mint, and it's definitely one of my favorites, but once you've downloaded it and linked all of your accounts, like your bank accounts and your credit cards, it's gonna analyze everything and then steal your kidneys. No, it's just gonna show you the overall financial perspective of your money. So just for the sake of transparency, I'm gonna show you mine, and here it is on the side. It shows me everything from my net worth, my cash, my credit cards, and my investments. And this does not include around $50,000 worth of cash that's in different bank accounts that I haven't linked yet, and around $250,000 worth of digital currencies. And I do realize that is a lot of money, but remember, I do YouTube for a living, so like half of this is gonna be paid to the government, so press F to pay respects. But what I really like about this app is that it lets you organize exactly where you're spending your money by labeling each transaction. So the next time you buy something or you pay for your rent, you can go in there, label it, and then for future references, it'll remember that transaction automatically. And that's nice because it lets you know exactly where you're wasting money the most, which is both useful and depressing. Another reason why I really love this app though is that it shows you your credit score automatically. And what's nice is that it's a soft inquiry, which means your credit score isn't hit with a hard inquiry. And the last reason why I love it is because it sends you alerts the next time it senses that you've spent more money than you typically do. But hands down, I think it's the best app for tracking how much money you're making and how much money you're spending. Definitely download it. The second app on this list is called Personal Capital, and it's very popular with over 2 million people using it, and it's much more powerful than Mint, but it does something a little bit differently because it integrates your investment accounts just so you can see how well you're doing in relationship to your retirement goals. And I think for most people in this world, they're not quite sure how much money they're supposed to save and how much of it they're supposed to invest. And this app makes all of that automatic. So for example, if you already know what your retirement number is because you've taken what you spend per year and you've multiplied it by 25, you can actually go to Personal Capital and it runs automatic backwards simulations just to check and see how well you are on pace with your retirement. And it uses some assumptions based on your spending and investment habits. It's super cool. You can adjust assumptions like whether or not you're gonna have kids, when is your retirement age, how much is your spending habit going to be when you retire, and how long you think you'll live, which is a very weird question to answer. So for me, I put 92, I put my retirement age as 35, and I put my spending habits at $6,000 a month or $72,000 a year, which I think is a very comfortable retirement number. And based on all of that, it has calculated that I have a 99% chance of success based on my current spending habits. And at the age of 92, I'll be left with anywhere between $1 to $2.1 million. So definitely download that and use it after the video, but only after the video because I need the watch time. So the next set of apps are what I like to call automatic savers category. Now, this isn't your primary investing brokerage. Instead, think of them as passive money saving apps. And this one I actually used a few years ago and I saved $342, which is awesome. It's money I probably would have spent anyway. So remember one year I was like, wow, nice. The best one of these is Acorns. You've probably heard of it. It's a very popular app. And the reason that it's awesome is because it takes your purchase, rounds it up to the nearest dollar, and then it takes the difference from your checking account, deposits it into an Acorns holding account where it is then distributed amongst different types of investments. So that probably sounds complicated, but the next time you go to Starbucks because you didn't listen to Graham and his 20-cent iced coffees and you spent $4.95, it would round up to $5, where it would then take that 5 cents from your checking account and then deposit it into the Acorns app and then invests it into different types of investments. I love the interface, great for beginners, but unfortunately there are a few major downsides to it. And at number 1, you can't pick stonks. Instead, you have categories you could select from. So the first of them is conservative, which is just a mix of different types of bonds. There's moderately conservative, which is a mix of stocks and bonds, and then there's moderately aggressive and aggressive. I've got mine set to moderately aggressive, and I've been pretty happy with that, but there's just a lack of choice. And the biggest downfall of this app really is their fee structure, because you could be paying from $1 to $3 to $5 a month. And while that doesn't sound like a lot of money, hear me out, that is an insane amount of money. Because for most people, this is just their first app. They're just getting started, it's not their primary app, so they're not gonna have a lot of money in there. So take me for example. So I've had this app for a while now, a couple months, and I've only been able to save $58.24. That's because it takes just a few pennies here and there, and I don't really spend much money on myself anyway, but I'm paying for the cheapest service at $1 a month. That is $12 a year. And that's a ridiculously high number to pay, because most people that are starting out, this is gonna be their balance. And even if I use the app for the entire year, maybe I'd get to $100, but for the cheapest service, that is still 12% as an investment fee for using them. You are paying a huge premium to get comfortable with investing. And as far as relative numbers are concerned, my $58 in relation to what I'm paying is a 20.69% fee per year for using them. Remember, the stock market returns only 7% per year. So that's like me paying the worst credit card interest terms ever. So I'm not saying don't use them, but don't use them unless you have at least $1,000 to begin investing with. Otherwise, the small balances are not worth it. But once you're comfortable and once you're ready to graduate from Acorns, this is the next step. Wealthfront. Now, Wealthfront is awesome because it takes everything you need to know as an advanced investor and it just does it for you all automatically. It's super cool. Now, it takes your money and it spreads it out across all these different types of ETFs and individual stocks, which is a difference to Betterment because Betterment doesn't use individual stocks. Now, they both do something called tax loss harvesting, which is a really cool concept that allows you to save your money on taxes and improve your overall returns. Now, the downside to this, though, is that they both charge a 0.25% yearly fee. So for every $100,000 you invest with them, you'll be paying $250 a year. It's still a small price to pay, but of the two between Betterment and Wealthfront, I think Wealthfront edges out just a little bit. But once you've downloaded all these automatic money-saving apps and investing apps, let's finally talk about the countdown for the best investing apps of the year. So first, let's start with the non-mobile designed investing brokerages. And by that I mean, even though all of these companies have their own phone app, none of them were really designed with the smartphone in mind. And they have different strengths and weaknesses that are gonna complement your investing style differently than some of the mobile smartphone designed ones. So remember, these are the big boy mom and dad investing brokerages that people have used for decades for long-term serious investing. So let's kick it off with number 1, and that is Vanguard. So if investing in brokerages was like playing Yu-Gi-Oh, then Vanguard would be like having a staple Raigeki in your deck. You gotta have it. Wait a minute. This is LOB, let me put that back in here. All right. So sometime around 2012-ish, I got started with Vanguard, and I got the best piece of investing advice I could have ever got in my teenage years, which was just to buy into the largest mutual fund in the world, which was VT Sachs. So if you've ever heard of index fund investing, Vanguard is the best place to do it. And that's because the guy who created Vanguard, John Bogle, was the guy who created the concept of index fund investing. And just like Robinhood changed the world of fintech, John and Vanguard changed the world of investing. Unfortunately, you have to have $3,000 as a minimum investment to be able to buy into this fund. But you can actually start with as little as $1 by buying the exchange traded fund version, the ETF, which is VTI. They're amazing, and I've got nothing negative to say. They are so good that their website still looks like it was designed in the 90s, and they're just like, don't care. We've got over $6.2 trillion in asset management. So if there's any negative thing I could say about them, is to just please update the website, make it look a little prettier and less boomer. The next best brokerage is for retirement accounts. Now, these are your IRAs and 401ks. So if you've ever heard of the traditional IRA or the Roth IRA, that's what this brokerage is, I think, the best for. And this one is, wait, hold on. Is this better or is the orange lights better? I don't know, we'll go with that. But the best brokerage for that is, wait for it, Fidelity. Now, I love Fidelity because it has a lot of really cool, interesting features built in, especially for people with higher net worths, because it allows you to do something called the Mega Backdoor Roth Conversion, which, no joke, I had to call them and I got transferred 3 times before I got somebody on their team that even knew what that was. But in a nutshell, it allows you to convert up to $57,000 and put it inside of your Roth account where it'll grow tax-free in retirement, which is insane because typically the Roth limit is $6,000 per year. So it lets you basically supercharge your retirement account, and Fidelity has the foundation to do that. So it's cool and I like it. Man, it's already getting dark. That's crazy. So by the way, December 21st is the winter solstice, which means that this is the longest night of the year and the shortest day. So after December 21st, it's all uphill and we're actually gonna have longer daytimes. But anyway, Fidelity is also awesome because it is known to fulfill 96% of their customers' orders at the best rates. Because remember, these brokerage accounts, they're not actually the ones with the stocks, they are bought through market makers, and Fidelity is known to have the best and the cheapest prices on stocks for their customers nearly all the time. But another great reason to use Fidelity is because it takes your uninvested cash and it automatically sweeps it into a money market fund, which basically means that your cash is automatically invested into cash. And it's a neat little technique that improves the performance of your portfolio just a little bit. The next up is the best brokerage for all of you international people or people who are advanced. But let's face it, if you're watching this video, you're probably not advanced, but it's great if you want to someday get good at buying and selling stocks and making money. And that one is IKBR, otherwise known as Interactive Brokers. This platform has a ton of different features that I've never even heard of, like cancel and triggers, which are basically like home automation, if this then that, but for investing. So for example, you can set a specific stock that if it dips below a certain price, it'll sell that stock automatically and then rebuy a different stock in its place. So a lot of cool different features for all of you advanced investors. And if you're living outside of the US and you're an international person, then this is your best bet because IKBR has access to over 135 different markets in over 33 different countries. So it's really great, but just remember that your fees will be different depending on which country you're from. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll see free investing in an all-encompassing app that covers the entire world just because it is prohibitively expensive for them to do, and no company wants to eat the costs until we have better systems in place. Now let's start the moment that I've personally been waiting for, which is the countdown to the best investing apps of the year that were designed on the go. These differ from the ones that I described in the previous section because they were designed in the age of the internet. So here we go with the best apps for millennials and Gen Zers. And coming in at number 3 is M1 Finance. Now this is a really cool app because it has a beautiful user interface, and I'm a sucker for clean and simple interfaces that I know how to use intuitively. And the reason that I really like them is because they have a really unique system called the Pie, which is basically a way for you to design your own portfolio based on percentages. So for example, if I wanted my stock portfolio to be 30% Apple, 30% Tesla, and 40% Amazon, I could dial all that in, and the next time I invest $100, it'll be distributed exactly how I set up my investments. The only really downside to this app is that outside of your trading windows, you can't really control when you place the trades unless you pay for their premium service. But outside of that, it's totally free, and I have my Roth IRA retirement account with them, which is another feature that they offer. Really cool retirement accounts. And coming in at number 2, drum roll, that is Robinhood. It has hands down the simplest, easiest interface to use for beginner investors, and they changed the face of investing forever because before them, you had to pay fees for buying and selling stocks. Now, my main portfolio is with Robinhood and I enjoy them, but they're number 2 this year because they had a number of outages and lawsuits that I've covered this year on my channel, and hopefully next year they'll be better and they'll give us more features like Bitcoin trading across the entire US and to be able to actually withdraw it into a different address. So even though they took number 2 this year, they'll always be number 1 in my heart. If you want to get started with Robinhood, you can grab a free stock with them, link down below. And coming in at number 1 is the underdog of the year that I don't think anyone saw coming this year, which was Webull. Now they're originally out of China, but they have an office in New York City, and they crushed it this year because they gave us every feature we ever asked for. If we were like, can we have crypto trading? They're like, yes. Can we have options trading? Yes. Fractional shares? Yes. Retirement accounts? Yes. Complex analytics tools? Yes. 4 free stocks? Yes. Free Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards? No, sorry about that. That was just me. I'm getting withdrawals. The only downside about Webull is that their interface is intimidatingly complicated for beginners. So that's the only downfall, but they're still number one. And don't forget to grab your 4 free stocks with them by depositing $100. This promo runs until the end of December. Deposit $100 and 2 of those stocks could be valued up to $1,600 each using the link below. So if you made it this far in the video, congratulations. Welcome to bonus round. This is where we invest in cryptocurrencies and things like Bitcoin. So the best overall platform that people use to buy it is actually Coinbase Pro. It's the most balanced out of all of them, and it requires, unfortunately, a fee for that service, but a lot of people say it's worth it. Personally, I use Gemini, which is free, but their fees are much higher. You can't go wrong with either one, but generally speaking, people prefer Coinbase Pro. But if you don't want to pay anything and you want to go with the free route, the best one is actually Robinhood. The downside is that it doesn't let you withdraw Bitcoin, so technically you're buying a derivative and not the actual coin itself, which is fine because we trust Robinhood, but it's not quite the same as owning it directly. And the easiest app to buy Bitcoin with is actually the Cash app and PayPal, which is coming soon. Now, once you buy Bitcoin though, you have 2 options. You can either keep it offline in cold storage, which is the safest option, which you want to get yourself a Ledger Nano, which is what I use, and you can keep that offline. Or if you want to keep it online, like a lot of people do, don't just keep it on a brokerage because you're not going to earn any interest off of that. If you want to actually start earning interest, the one that I use is BlockFi, which you can actually get up to $250 worth of free digital currencies using my link below, but there's a lot of other ones that I will list in the links below as well. The last few miscellaneous apps that you should consider downloading on your phone are actually Yata Savings, which I think is the best savings account that we have out there right now. It's an effective savings yield of around 2%, but the cool part about it is that it enters you into an automatic lottery every week where you can win millions of dollars. And I know that's kind of a gimmick, it's not necessary, but it's just an added benefit of encouraging you to save money, and I really like that. The other one is called Truebill, which looks through all of your subscriptions and it cancels them for you if you want to do that, and it's really helped me out a lot. The only downside is it's actually paid, and it too requires a subscription, which is kind of ironic. And the last one is called Fundrise, which is the best way to invest in real estate other than physically buying real estate and leveraging with your money. Whew, that was a long list. Congratulations if you got through all of it, and if you did, you are well on your way to financial independence and to retire early. You're awesome. And if you want to get in touch with me, you can follow me on Instagram. I post from time to time, or you can join my free Discord group, or reach out to me to my PO box down below. Don't forget to get all those free stonks. Love you. Thank you so much. I'll see you back here on Monday and Friday, sometimes a Wednesday. Bye-bye. Oh my God, I got to 1 million subscribers. Crazy. Can't wait to make my 1 million subscriber video. It's gonna be so awesome. Thank you so much. I really can't thank you enough. I'll see you soon.